Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Alright guys, a couple days ago I did kind of talk about the spoilers for the upcoming episodes of the Boruto anime, but now we have the full spoilers of the upcoming episodes of the Boruto anime. Of course, always translated by Organic Dinosaur, the big goat. She actually did release a small excerpt of, I believe, the next 3 episodes, but she didn't necessarily give the full thing, and now she's actually giving the full thing. So that right there is going to be what I'm reading to you guys. But without further ado, let's get into the first episode, Boruto episode 228. The title is going to be Kawaki, A Path Towards Being a Shinobi. Into the actual paragraph, it says, it's been arranged for Kawaki to be promptly added in as a member of various teams in order to conduct missions with them. However, Kawaki has a problematic personality and a disregard for teamwork, and in addition, Kawaki keeps doing things on his own accord that inconveniences his teammates. Kawaki then causes the mission to descend into chaos and turn into awkward situations. Alright, so this right here gives us a lot more insight than we originally got. We didn't necessarily know that Kawaki was going to have this type of problem. The biggest thing for this episode is going to be the fact that Kawaki is going to be actually trying to find a team. Specifically, it says that Kawaki will be added as a member of various teams in order to conduct missions. Now again, various teams is very broad. What we did see in the preview is we seen Denki, Iwabi, and Metal Lee. So I'm guessing that right there is going to be a team that Kawaki is going to be involved in. Not only that, we also did see Shikadai and Inojin. That right there is also going to be a team that Kawaki is going to be involved in. Now specifically, just judging by those 2 teams, I personally believe that Kawaki is going to fit a lot better with Shikadai. That right there is just my opinion. I think that Kawaki and Iwabi, they definitely work well together, but Kawaki and Denki, I don't know about that. Kawaki and Metal Lee, I don't know about that. So that team right there is probably not necessarily going to be good. But regardless, let's get into the next episode, Boruto episode 229. The title is going to be Violating Orders. Into the actual paragraph, it says, Kawaki did not do well on the exam that he needed to pass in order to attain the qualifications to become a genin. He wasn't able to adapt himself and grow accustomed to the following rules or bonding with his fellow comrades as a shinobi. And so Kawaki began to think he was just not suited to become a ninja, and the Hokage then gives Kawaki a final chance. Kawaki will be giving a mission to escort someone named Mazuku back to his hometown in the Lull country. Together with Nara Shikadai and Akamichi Chocho, will Kawaki be able to cooperate with his comrades this time, and will he be able to complete the mission? Meanwhile, Boruto and the rest of Team 7 have been assigned to a different mission. They happen to encounter and pass by some disguised ninjas who give them some bad vibes and unpleasant premonition. Alright, so again, a lot more information than we originally got. Now we have a certain situation where it seems like this right here is going to be the actual mission to actually judge if Kawaki can actually become a genin male, because this right here seems like it's going to be the last chance. Kawaki in this particular episode seemed like he was already trying to say that becoming a shinobi isn't necessarily for him. It says that Naruto gave him a last try and paired him up with Shikadai. As I said earlier, that pairing right there makes a lot more sense than pairing him up with the likes of characters like Metal Lee and Denki, 100%. So I think that this right here is definitely the best case scenario. Now, of course, an escort mission, probably not necessarily the best case scenario, mainly because Kawaki, I don't necessarily think that he'd be as patient with the client as he should be. For example, I talked about how Kawaki's personality does not match with Metal Lee and probably wouldn't match with Denki either. Hypothetically, if the customer, the person who's being escorted, has a personality that just doesn't jive with Kawaki, that right there could definitely be a problem. But also at the end of this paragraph, we do actually see something new. This is the fact that Team 7, excluding Konohamaru, I'm guessing, is going to be going out on a mission, and they actually pass by some disguised ninjas. Now specifically, I don't necessarily think that we are going to get to see Team 7 in action in this particular episode, but I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if we do, I'd be 100% happy. Of course, seeing Boruto, Mitsuki, and Sarada just as a 3-man cell in battle again, it's going to be must-see TV, especially since we arrived of Boruto versus Mitsuki at the end of the last episode. But regardless, to get into the next episode, Boruto episode 230, the title is going to be A Wish. Now into the actual paragraph, it says Chocho has been injured by an attack from a mysterious ninja. Moreover, Mazuku has completely lost the package that he has been carrying around. This was not going to be an ordinary escort mission. Their commander officer Shikadai senses that this was going to be a dangerous mission where ninja would be targeting them, and so Shikadai decides they ought to return back to the village at once. However, Mazuku wants to get the package back at all costs. Mazuku was entrusted to deliver it in order to help everyone back in their hometown. Kawaki thinks about Mazuku's situation and then decides to ignore Shikadai's orders. Together with Mazuku, Kawaki goes in pursuit of the mysterious ninja. Kawaki alone then faces off against their formidable foe who uses a peculiar jutsu. Will Kawaki be able to protect his escort client Mazuku and safely get the package delivered back to Mazuku's hometown in the Lull country? Alright, so this right here seems like it's going to be a very entertaining episode. Kawaki is actually going to see some action in Boruto episode 230, and of course the title, A Wish, may actually be linked to the peculiar jutsu that this actual ninja is going to be using against Kawaki. This right here seems like it's going to be absolutely crazy. One of the things that we have actually been talking about for a very long time, ever since Kawaki lost his karma seal, was of course how strong is Kawaki. This right here might not be a very good barometer, mainly because the person that Kawaki is actually going to be fighting is going to be using a jutsu that we aren't necessarily too familiar to. So of course it's still going to be very interesting to see exactly what Kawaki does in regards to battle strength, but of course this right here is going to be a little bit confusing in regards to the actual foe. Now not only that, it seems that Kawaki completely disregarded the leader of his team's mission. I think that Kawaki is probably going to fail this actual test right here, but in the end of the day, I wouldn't necessarily be too surprised if Kawaki ends up on top and completely destroys this guy, destroys this ninja that actually tries to attack him, and of course finishes the mission by himself. It would not be a surprise at all, but of course even if he finishes the mission by himself, he's probably still going to fail the test, mainly because he completely went against his leader's orders, which is Shigadai. One of the interesting things about that last episode though is that they completely stopped talking about Team 7. Now of course I'm not necessarily expecting Team 7 to be a very big influence in this overall arc, but of course us hearing about them in the last episode and not hearing about them in this episode seems a little bit fishy. They might still make an appearance in that episode, and of course because it's not actually mentioned, it might be very important, so they don't necessarily want to spoil everything. But regardless, the next episode is going to be Boruto episode 231. I definitely do want to point out this episode right here is going to be skipping January 2nd, so there will be no episode on January 2nd. It's not necessarily going to be a hiatus, it's just going to be 1 week off. But the title of Boruto episode 231 is going to be A Rusted Sword. Into the actual paragraph, it says, an incident has occurred where a traveling merchant has been attacked by robbers. Wasabi, Namina, and Tsubaki of Team 15 have been assigned to investigate the situation. Then Tsubaki makes a discovery. The evidence seems to be related to the samurai from her hometown in the Iron Country. In addition, Tsubaki suddenly recognizes one of the perpetrators' marks that were left behind. She's unable to conceal her trembling and feelings about the evidence. The reason why she reacted that way is because it's someone whom she used to respect. They used to hone their swordsmanship skills with one another. The suspect seems to be someone who trained under the same master as Tsubaki, a more senior disciple. It's as if Tsubaki was destined to meet this enemy because of their connection to one another. Alright, so this episode right here seems like it's going to mark the end of the last arc. It says absolutely nothing about Kawaki, so I'm guessing the last arc is going to end on Boruto episode 230. But into this specific episode right here, I like it, and the reason why I like it is because we see a lot of the good characters, specifically Tsubaki, not talking about the rest, Tsubaki in the tuning exam, and we understand that she's a very good character. We've understood that she was very strong from the rip. The problem with Tsubaki's character is that she's gotten absolutely no screen time. Now, of course, I definitely do want to point this out. Just throwing Tsubaki in any old random episode does not do her character justice. Her character has to be an actual combat. Her character has to be an actual drama, and of course, the best thing that we could possibly hope for Tsubaki's character, which is not going to be in this episode, is that Tsubaki is an actual plot development in regards to the Kado organization, the Otsutsuki clan, the Karma Seal, Boruto, Kawaki, and etc. That's probably not going to happen in this particular episode, but of course, Tsubaki just gaining the character development and the writers potentially feeling out how the Boruto fans feel about Tsubaki can potentially lead to her being in those bigger episodes, in those bigger arcs, and having her play a bigger role in the overall series. So of course, this right here is going to be absolutely huge for her overall character, and of course, them diving deeper into the samurai is something that I've wanted for a very long time. We've never really got that actual dichotomy of ninjas versus samurai, and it seems like this arc we may actually see something like that. So I really do hope that this right here is a very good arc. I hope they're not necessarily just throwing Tsubaki in the arc just for her to just be thrown in the arc. It sounds like it's going to be well thought out, and hopefully it does her character justice. But let me know what you guys think about these next 4 episodes in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Barbie, and we out.
It's a knife.